Is it just me, or all of a sudden do you find a lot of people on YouTube are putting out the same kind of videos, they have the same kind of structure with their scripts, they say the same kind of phrases, it's almost way too predictable. They're probably doing what a lot of people, including myself, are doing to save time, be more efficient. They're using AI, but they're using it wrong. And let's face it, they're not fooling anyone. In this video, I am breaking down the 10 most cringeworthy things I see out there with creators who are using ChatGPT and other AI platforms to script their work. Huge disclaimer here, I have no problem with using AI to generate ideas, create script outlines, give you those big bullet points and things that you want to talk about in your videos. I do that too. But what I'm not a fan of is when people use AI and memorize their scripts word for word using these phrases that are so obviously not the way normal people talk. So stay tuned as I break down exactly what those are so you don't make these mistakes in your videos. And even if people don't necessarily know as much about AI as say you and I do, they still know something's up. Something feels off. To connect authentically on camera, which we all have to do in 2025, and let's face it, we should all do all the time, you really need to make sure that you're not subliminally sending, let's just say that 5 times fast. Make sure you're not subliminally sending the message to your people that you're actually being programmed by a robot. Welcome to Camera Confident. If you're new here, my name is Shirley. I'm a former television reporter turned entrepreneur, and I now help other business owners and creators become more magnetic and confident on camera, create better videos, tell better stories, and ultimately grow their businesses with the power of video. You'll want to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you exactly how I use AI to, and when I say script, if you watch my other videos, don't script, but create a script outline that you can follow as you record your videos so it doesn't take forever. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you through my process of doing this and what kind of words I skip over anytime I see them. Mistake number 1, you sound like a PowerPoint presentation or a job posting on LinkedIn. Yes, there are very specific types of terms that a lot of people use, especially when they're using something like ChatGPT and they haven't programmed it to sound like them. So they'll have some script that says like, in this video, I will be diving into 10 key aspects of. Who talks like that? I hope not you. So try to, if you do get an output like that and you want a little bit more structure in your scripts for your videos, go back at the AI and say, okay, can you say it in a more conversational tone? There's an app that I talk about in one of my programs called Hemingway, and it actually helps people take their language and figure out what grade level it's at. So you might want to plug it into a different AI tool to see what it spits out, something more specialized at detecting the readability and understandability of stuff, because I find some of the stuff ChatGPT churns out, and can we talk about how it's been a bit wacky lately? Leave me a comment if you've had an experience like that. It really does make a difference when you're trying to convey information and talk to people. You want to make sure you don't sound like one of those just generic kind of job, I always call it job interview at LinkedIn lingo. You want to avoid that. So how do you fix it? Well, the first thing is you read it out loud. If it sounds like something you would say, then sure, go for it. But if you're tripping over any part of it, if there's any part of it that kind of sounds weird, the way you move your mouth and like it does, that's not how you normally talk, then cut it out. It dies on the cutting room floor. And then rewrite it like you're explaining it to a friend. Or better yet, a 6-year-old. Mistake number 2, and this is my personal just pet peeve, the ChatGPT culprit lingo. Below this video, I'm going to link a free resource you can download that is full of the top 50 phrases and words you should avoid like the plague when it comes to your scripts if you get them from ChatGPT. We're talking things like, in today's fast-paced digital world. But here's the thing. Now, get this. The reality is, that being said, now more than ever, it's crucial to, and one of my personal favorites, now it's your turn. No, it's not. Nobody talks like that. How to fix it? Just avoid cliches. Avoid those transition lines you get from ChatGPT. Take what you get and rewrite it in your own words, especially the transitions and especially anything that starts with any kind of variation of those phrases. Number 3, this mistake is one that you definitely don't want to make, and I see it all the time, using AI generated buzzwords. We're talking unleash, uncover, discover, empower, revolutionize, imagine a world where. Just stop with those words, okay? Again, nobody uses those words in real life. Nobody talks in that kind of way. And now it has become such a telltale sign that you're using AI that people will just like roll their eyes and scroll past your content, whether you're using it in a post or a video. Don't try to be flowery. Just use simple conversational language that you would use in a normal conversation. You can still get people excited with your content, but just try to steer clear of some of those cliche buzzwords. And if you go onto social media and scroll for even a few minutes, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And leave a comment below and let me know what the worst possible culprit in your books is. What is the most cringeworthy thing you see all the time that you just wish would be banished from the vocabulary of any AI tool? Number 4, and I hinted at this earlier, ending any kind of post with let's ... anything. Putting it back on the viewer. And that's great. I mean, obviously we want that kind of interaction, but what we don't want is for it to sound like the call to action is just this generic thing that you hear all the time. Same thing, same old. Number 5, the structure is a little too perfect. Have you seen this? There's this very specific opening with a very predictable structure. In this video, I'm going to X. Hi, I'm X. Bullet point 1, 2, 3, tip number 3, 4, 5, then a call to action, and then, check out the next video. That, by the way, is how I structure my videos, but I don't do it so obviously, at least I hope I don't. I try to be a little more creative, throw in different intros, make the first 30 seconds a little more interesting to keep you watching. Thanks for still being here, by the way. So try to do that too. Don't be so robotic and formulaic in your YouTube scripts, unless that's part of how you grew your channel and that's what people know you for, and you always come on and do the same kind of thing. Well, that's okay, but you still want to vary it up a little bit so that people have some entertainment value to what you're presenting. Mistake number 6 is not injecting any of your own personality. This is why I say never memorize the scripts, because that robs you of the ability to show little pieces of yourself as you go. Like when I notice that my hair is out of place and I make jokes about it, or when I stumble, or when I suddenly tell a story that I wasn't planning on telling because it just popped into my mind. So leave room for that magic, for that spontaneity. And when you're letting AI do too much of the talking, there's no room for that. So injecting your personality is key, and the more you try to really think you're talking to a friend or someone you know, the more that will come out, because that's how you act around the people you love. Mistake number 7, too many adverbs, too many flowery words, too much description. Again, this one is about talking the way you would normally speak, making sure that your sentences aren't too long and that they don't have the same kind of predictable structure. When we talk, our sentences are different lengths. We don't have these predictable like groups of 3 and all of the kind of stuff that you see in an AI generated script, because there is a formula when you really see this enough where it starts to become predictable. So if you're talking like that and you're seeing people do that in their videos, it's probably a sign that they are using AI to generate that and are sticking a little too closely to the script. Number 8 is cringe-worthy hooks. Anything, as I said, that starts with imagine a world or some of those cliche phrases, but also hooks that are just very vanilla. But make sure that the first 30 seconds, so the hook is even less than that really, but you build out that hook over the first 30 seconds. That's where you really want to inject the most personality, because that's when the viewer is making the decision about whether to continue watching. Number 9, no interruptions, pauses, screw ups, bloopers, anything like that. It's just a little too perfect. Anything that's super produced, overly produced today in 2025 doesn't land as well. And I've seen this across many clients and many creators. The ones who come across as less polished actually do better than the people, unless they're already really established. They do better than the people who are starting out and trying to be too perfect. Imperfect content, imperfect you, imperfect scripting is the name of the game. Say that 10 times fast. Number 10, the number 10 biggest mistake I see out there is not editing and putting your own spin on AI generated scripts. This is non-negotiable. When you get something back, whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever it is that you are using as an AI tool, take what you get, take it out of that app, and then rewrite it in your own voice. Even if you've trained this thing to sound like you, trust me, it doesn't always do that. And I have found over time, a lot of people are getting lazier about how they're writing their posts, scripting their videos. They are just leaning on the AI, so much so that the other day, ChatGPT wasn't really working that well for me. And people were like, oh my God, I'm so used to this now. I don't even know how to write it on my own. So make sure that you don't lose that touch of being able to naturally script your own stuff and talk like you normally would. You don't want to feel like AI is the only way you can get things done if you rely on it too much. So taking that script out of the platform and making it your own is absolutely key to really mastering this, using AI as a tool, but then not having it be a crutch where you rely on it to speak for you and then it starts to shape the way you speak on camera. So I promised you at the end I would show you how I do my own scripting. I go into ChatGPT, I give it a prompt, and then I see what it churns out, and I go back and forth with it until I'm happy with an overall structure. I get really specific about scripting the hook. That is the most important part of the video. And then also what I call the extra, which is the end of the video, because I want to know which video I'm going to be pointing to next. Speaking of which, I was saying earlier, the first 30 seconds of your YouTube video are absolutely the most crucial to retain your viewers and actually grow your channel. So click on this video so you can see exactly how I approach that and how you can do the same.